All right, guys, we got a nice little, I guess, I mean, I hate to use the phrase budget, but I mean, it is what it is. Another TISAS. This is actually Tiny Tacticals. We were out at Carter's Country out here in spring, and she actually won this one in a raffle. It's kind of crazy. So we got to shoot it there when she won it. So we kind of put it back in the box to do the unboxing and the full review and all that good stuff. But it was a really nice pistol. It was a good event. What happened was TISAS was doing one of those demos. You can go out there and shoot several pistols along with Smith & Wesson. And that's where she actually purchased her double stack 1911 TISAS. And then won this one on the side. So it was kind of cool. It was like 2 for 1. So that was pretty awesome. But again, these are Tiny Tacticals. I swear she's probably got more handguns than I do now, which is kind of crazy. So if something ever happens to me, right? All right, so let's get into it. So we have the PX9 Carry, which I think we're starting to see a lot of makers now. It is really stiff. There we go. Starting to make these like Carry small editions, but not so much as micro. So we got some little piece of paper. It tells you how the trigger lock works. Kind of standard now, almost. I first started seeing it with Canik. I'm sure Canik wasn't the first, where they include some cleaning supplies, a little rod for your patches, the bore brush, and then so TISAS is also giving the inside the waistband little holder. These suckers are stiff as shit, so I'm sure if it's, I don't know if these are made for retention or not, but these little suckers are stiff. So but it's kind of cool that they give it to you. So for beginners or just training purposes, it does give you one of those. I'm just gonna go real quick with what's in the box. What I do like about it is they do have back straps that you can change out. I'm assuming the larger size will have this bigger beaver tail back here to kind of go in the back of it. So I'm sure you get the small and the medium. We'll take a look at those here in a minute. And I know several pistols now come with these interchangeable palm swells on the side of the frame or the grip. I think I have a couple pistols that have it, but I've yet to really mess with that. I'm more of just kind of change the back strap and I'm good to go. But maybe that's something that I'll play with later on just to see if I can get a better feel overall. There's your trigger lock. It does come with your chamber flag that was probably in there. And something I did not notice, I didn't even know it had a little, it's like a polymer. You can see the flex in it. It's bending a little bit, so you got to be careful. A nice little cool polymer little magwell. I didn't see that in there last time. That's pretty awesome. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of magwells. I like to change them out. I got big fat hands, so I like a little bit of assistance. You got your pistol, which we'll take a look at. We got one mag. Of course, everybody now gives you their little speed loaders, right? And if you're like me, they're just kind of piled up somewhere. Like I can't just throw them away. I feel guilty. But I don't even use them, so I don't know. Anybody needs any speed loaders, let me know. Then it's got another cool extended mag over here, and we'll take a look at that. So let's get this box out of the way. Again, this is the TISAS PX9 Carry. This is the IO edition. IO meaning irons only. So they do have the OR, which is optics ready. This is the irons only. There it is, our little etching in the side, the PX9 Carry. Really nice looking pistol right out of the box. So these, I think they run about 330, 350 bucks or something like that. So definitely what almost everybody would consider a budget pistol, which I will be doing a comparison video with this back to back with the Taurus GX4 Carry, and maybe do like a battle of the budgets, because they both seem to be in the pretty same price range, the TISAS and Tauruses. So yeah, it comes with, let's make sure we show that we're safe there. There we go, nothing in there. And let's get that trigger out the way. So you got the 2 mags, which we'll talk about later. Man, really nice looking little pistol. Nothing that really stands out on you. There's some things that I really noticed right away. The texturing. I like the index points. I always like index points texturing. I see the serrations, which we'll go through all this better in a little bit slower. You got your Picatinny rail, flat trigger. I'm a big fan of flat triggers for my fingers. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So the slide is obviously steel. Most pistols now, right, they have their forged or carbon steel or whatever. Again, this is the irons only edition. I really like these serrations here because I've seen some pistols where they're just plain little lines, right? SIG does them. I think Smith & Wesson has their little curved ones. There's really so much that you can do with these little serrations, but I've had some pistols in some of my reviews where they're not really deep. So you can still cock it, but I like them just a little bit deeper. So these, you can kind of tell they do have a little depth to them in the front and in the back, where you can feel the bumps where some are like almost feel kind of smooth. So these do have slightly deeper serrations, real easy to cock. And it's not a very tight slide to begin with. So I do like that, that these serrations are a little bit deeper than normal. Pretty nice. We got our sights. These are just some basic sights. We got your black serrated sights in the back with just a white dot up front. They're not fancy fiber optics or tritium, but I mean, what are you going to get for 330, 340 bucks, right? Good thing about that is these are Glock pattern sights, meaning you can go ahead and upgrade these, right? Some aftermarket or Glock sights and change these out. So that is a good thing. They have that little dovetail back here. We can get those swapped out. So that is one thing you can upgrade right out of the box, which is kind of pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of the black serrated. You guys already know that because of my vision. I do like the idea behind it, that you can just get that center, that dot in there, and you can see it instantly with the blacked out. I just have bad vision, so it doesn't really help me as much. But I am starting to get a little bit used to them. So any of you guys that are picky, that we do have that there. Let me see if I can get it zoomed in here. Let me get a nice little focus there. There we go. So we should be able to pick that up pretty quick if you like the black serrated rears and then just a dot in the front. All right, so not too much to our slide. The barrel is 3.5 inches. It is a forged steel barrel. I think it says a button rifling in there. Whatever that means, I'm not sure. I'm not that super educated, but it is a 3.5 inch barrel. And we'll just go ahead and get into our dimensions. The overall length from the back of the slide to the front is about 6 1/4, 6.25 inches, something like that. And you can get closer to 6.5 if you go to the back of the beaver tail. The overall height, bottom of the frame, top of the slide, I didn't count the sights, is about 5 inches. So very small. The width, standard 1 inch up here with the slide. The deepest part of the frame, it's about 1 1/4. If you come just down to the bottom of the frame, it's still even with the slide at 1 inch, but these do kind of protrude just a little bit here on the side, the palm swells, which again, these are interchangeable, so that could get thicker if you wanted to, or maybe even smaller. Usually when they have interchangeable grips or back straps, they usually kind of come with a medium installed in there. So there's our slide. Let's get down to our frame. It is a polymer frame. Let's get to our controls. I do like the slide stop. There's some that are really stiff or flush, like the CZ P10 that I have. I had to change that out. I just didn't like how flush it was. We do have the little stair step pattern here where you get about 4 little steps here, so it does protrude a little bit. I do like that, along with the takedown. It's almost like a SIG P320 style. You just turn that forward and then take your slide off. I like the little cut in here for your dominant hand. Your thumb kind of can go in here, or maybe, well, actually for this one, right, your support hand and your thumb goes up top. So when you're getting that natural grip, you see how I got large hands, and my pinky, without any extension or anything yet, just the frame, my pinky is almost all the way on there. So this is a really good size grip. It feels really natural. And for some of you Hogue grip fans, these are rubberized here on the side. Only the side swells are rubberized. So I kind of like that feel. It almost like kind of clamps to your hand a little bit on the inside, like it's a natural stickiness. I don't know how to describe it. But these are rubberized on the side only, and then these are just the plastic polymer with some of that texturing, and they're not very aggressive at all. Not even to the touch. They're not smooth, but they're not very aggressive or scratchy. But with that rubberized grip, it's like it sticks to your hand, so it feels really nice. It feels like I have a Hogue aftermarket grip on there, so I do like that. I don't see what size is on here. I'll check on here in a second, but I like that it does have a little deep little beaver tail, and it has a little bit of an extension, which you kind of don't really find too much on some of these compact or micros. They kind of just go flush with a very minimal small beaver tail in there. So for me, these smaller guns are always going to have more snap. That little beaver tail helps a little bit with that recoil control here, right? So when it kicks back, it has something to kind of stop on the back of your hand there. So I did like that about it. Your takedown also, again, that's stare down, that step down pattern. So some of you guys, it kind of does help to serve as like a gas pedal, a little stop, or a little index point. If you're one of those that likes to drive your hand forward, they do have the index point here with a little bit of texture, also polymer, not rubberized, so you can get that in there. Also your index finger on this side. So I really like that. And I think on my macro, it kind of had that too as well, but I went and added some of that texture tape on top of it, just so I had a little bit more aggressive feel to it, and just kind of trimmed it to the shape. But it's a little smooth, but you definitely can feel it and know what your placement is at with your thumb or your pointing finger there, your trigger finger. And do get the Picatinny rail. You get a couple slots here for your lights and lasers. I do like that. The trigger, surprised that it's a flat trigger. Looks like it may be machined aluminum here. It's not plastic, doesn't feel like it. But I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Most of these guns, they all kind of come with that little standard little curved trigger, and you know, that's kind of one of the first things I like to change on mine, are to the flat trigger, just so I can get my big thick finger in a little bit better. Does have that trigger safety bar, a nice wide one with some serrations. It's kind of hard. I'm pretty sure I can maybe capture it. So these wider safety bars I kind of like, so that way when they're a little thin, you may catch the side of it instead, or not necessarily press it all the way completely. And then sometimes you get that dead trigger and you're not pulling it. So with a little bit of a wider trigger, you can kind of get somewhere on that wide trigger safety bar, and it'll still depress there like that. So really, really nice. I like the flat trigger. We'll look at the pulls here in a second. I like the texture, little pyramids, checkered on the mag release. Feels real stiff right now, but it is brand new. I mean, we've maybe put a mag or two through it. So it's a little stiff, but I can easily get to it. I don't need to get off grip or anything like that. And now you see why I like mag wells when I'm trying to go fast. See, I keep hitting. But that's why I like mag wells, right? So there we go. Nice and easy. All right. So I do like that. Don't have to come off my grip much, or if at all. It is a little polymer. It's not metal or anything. It does have that little texturing, like I said, little pyramid styles. Good little feel. You can get a good press on those. The palm swells. Let's see what size we got here. So most guns, right? They come with 3 different sizes: your small, medium, or large. They're usually on the inside or at the bottom. There we go. So I can see that this is the small, and then of course your large. Doesn't say large, but you can obviously tell. So between the small and the large, there is a pretty significant difference. And then the large comes with that beaver tail, I guess because of thickness, so it hits the back of this. So they're like, hey, we're gonna have to add a piece of that beaver tail. And then the medium that's installed right now, there's your M for medium there. But of course, no beaver tail. So this, I'm assuming, is gonna probably go on the inside, but because it's so large, it has to kind of go on there this way, versus a small and medium don't have that. And it looks like you just hit that little row pin there, punch that out. This probably just pops right off, put your new one on. Same thing, I'm assuming, with this, and once you take this one, you'll probably have access to these and just pop those right off. So there's a little punch for that. Let's look at these side palm swells. Yes, and right away, you can feel that they're rubberized. Nice, pretty thick rubberized. I like the feel of those. So here's your small left. Here's a right large. There's your small SOL. I'm not sure. Left, small left large. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. There's your 2 large. So this is the small right. There we go. So what's installed on the gun is always a medium, right? Same thing with the back strap. So I do like all the interchangeables. I've never been one to really mess with the palm swells on the side. I usually just go with a larger palm swell just to get a deeper contact here. See, I'll have some space here, so I have to kind of press the gun a little bit more in. So with the larger back strap, it's a little bit closer to making contact and just more of a natural grip for me. So I'll probably change this out if I'm going to be the one using it. But again, this is Tiny Tacticals. It does have a cocking. I just noticed that. It does have like a indicator that it is cocked. Not necessarily loaded because there's no ammo in the gun. This just tells you that it was cocked and the trigger is going to go off. So that's kind of good indicator there. And as you press the trigger, that indicator is gone. I know my Canik has that as well. Nice deep undercut here on the trigger guard. There is some slight line cuts here. So I've seen some people use that grip style where they come way up here on that trigger guard. I'm not really I don't use that style. I like to kind of more of the standard cup both hands here, or my support hand over my dominant hand. So I'm not really sure where that comes into play other than people using that other style of grip, which is not very common. But I do like this big undercut, so it allows you to get underneath it a little bit better, a little bit more control of that pistol. Really nice feel to it. Let's take a look at the mags. So this is, they comes with two 15-round mags, it says. So this one, I'll take a look at in a minute. I mean, obviously you can see it's a thicker butt pad. I don't know if it's just an extension of the base pad or if it's an extended mag. But with it flush, like I said, even without the mag, I have a really good grip on it. Good purchase on there. My pinky's not hanging off. Really nice feel to it. Get your nice little slide lock. Easy to release. Mag release is fine. So here's a 15-rounder TISAS, and these are checkmate mags. So that's a good thing, right? If you ever want to buy, you know, more mags, these are checkmate mags, and I do believe these are patterned after the P228. So that's always a good thing as well. So if you guys have a SIG P228, the mags, maybe depending on what base pads you have on yours, should be interchangeable. So this one is a 15-round mag. Okay, so usually when you have this base plate here, that's a base plate that kind of stops at the end of the, yeah, see, it kind of goes flush with the bottom of this. So that usually is an indication that this is not an extended magazine, just more of an extended base pad. So that way for your even larger hands or your support, if it likes to dip, then you can get a really good feel on there down here at the bottom. Really nice texturing, contouring here. I kind of like that. So it makes for those pulls. But of course, fast reloads, you're just going to drop that sucker. But I really like the contouring on this extended base pad here. And you got your TISAS stamp down here at the bottom. Really, really nice pistol. So I can't wait to get this to the range. Test some accuracy on it and see if this really performs. But before we do, let's take a look at that trigger. All right, so we got our gauge. Let's see what we're gonna do. Let's go ahead and clear. Let's see what we can get. Trying to get kind of towards, not the base, but a little bit between the base and the middle. So 3.45, not bad. Let's see if that was a fluke. .95. Clear, hit ready. I always forget how to use this stupid thing, how to get that average to calculate. 3.97. So man, we're getting sub 4-pound trigger pulls, and when I pulled it earlier, it felt nice. I didn't know it was going to be sub 4 pounds. That's pretty nice for a little budget pistol. So 3.97. Let's get an average. It said 3.97. Let's try that again. No, it said average 3.97. So we're good. So sub 4-pound trigger pulls. So let's take a look. So there's your little uptake right there, your little creep pre-travel. Not much at all. Once you hit that safety, that's it. And you're at a pretty decent wall. So let's take a look. Once I start applying pressure now, so there's a little bit of mush, a lot of mush. And then you get so once you get to that 90 degree, it breaks. Let's look at the reset. So it's a little far reset, almost back to beginning. If that's not the entire beginning, I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, so it goes all the way back to the front. So there it is there. Let's look at it again. Little pre-travel. and you get that mush. So you see the angle there, and this is not going to go off to about 90 degrees. So you do get a lot of that mush there. See there, that's all tension, and then it finally clicks. But again, feels really light to the touch, so that's a good thing. And then the reset was just like basically all the way back to the front. So not the best trigger as far as you know, all the little nitpicky stuff, but I love the fact that it's a flat trigger. I mean, if you're shooting fast, nobody's paying attention to the mush. It's just going. If you have good mechanics, it's really not going to be a factor too much. Really, it feels light. I just barely tap that sucker and it goes. So a sub 4 pound trigger straight out of the box and flat, I'll take it. Especially for, you know, I mean, obviously we got it for free in a raffle, but for 350 bucks, not bad at all. Really good starting point. So let's take it to the range and see how this little sucker performs.